going on YouTube? Cody Rhodes fan 2011 back here with another video. This is just going to be an audio video, a review of Wrestlemania. Okay, the first thing we had Carrie Hilton doing a rendition of America the Beautiful. She did a pretty decent job. Anybody better than Bieber in my opinion. Then we had The Rock come out to a huge pop. He basically did a lot of catchphrases and made the people finish them. Big pop for him, so good opening segment. This was a decent pay-per-view in my opinion, not the best and not the worst either. Then we had the first match, which was Alberto Del Rio versus Edge, and then Christian was in Edge's corner, and Ricardo and Brodus was in Alberto Del Rio's corner. They had a decent match in which early Brodus took out Christian, but then later in the match Christian come back and took out Brodus, and then Edge ended up hitting a bunch of offense. So did Del Rio, but then Edge hit Del Rio with a spear and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Then after the match they added insult to injury, pretty much as the old phrase says, and Del Rio's car was destroyed by Edge and Christian. But that was a great thing, because Del Rio, he's an up-and-comer in my opinion. I mean, I know he has a bright future, but now is the time to put the belt on him, and I congratulate WWE for not giving it to him just yet. Maybe at the next pay-per-view he'll win it. Then the next thing we had, probably one of the best matches of the night, Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio. It started off, Cody come out with some kind of awesome entrance with his new music. He come out with a red and black jacket on with a hood over his face. And he had like on his entrance, he had like a newspaper or something like that. It said grotesque, deformed, different, something like all that kind of stuff. And then Ray come out dressed up as Captain America, and come down and they started fighting. They had a good fight. It lasted probably a little bit close to, maybe it was over 11 minutes, I don't remember. But I remember they had this awesome spot in the match where Rhodes had Ray on the top rope and he lifted him in the air and held him for like a minute, and then he dropped him. Then he did the superplex off the top rope, and that was one of the better parts of the match. And then we had Ray take Rhodes' mask off of him and put it on over his mask, and ends up hitting Rhodes with his own mask. And then Rhodes, earlier during the match, he had took off Rey Mysterio's knee brace and threw it outside the ring. So after Rhodes got hit with that, Ray pinned him with 1, 2, and then Rhodes got back up and rolled out of the ring after Ray hit him with a knee brace, or not knee brace, excuse me. I mean, after Ray hit him with his own mask, he jumped out of the ring and got the knee brace, and while the ref was taking away Rhodes' mask from Ray, Rhodes hit him with the leg brace right in the face because he ran to him and was going to do a suicide dive, but Rhodes caught him right in the face with a knee brace, then got back to the ring, cross-roped him 1, 2, 3. So that was one of the better matches of the night for me. I'm not just saying that either because I'm a Cody Rhodes fan, so just so you know. The next thing we had was this backstage thing with Eve and The Rock. They were pretty much, The Rock was pretty much flirting with Eve, and then he told the next person to come around that corner he would do something to, and it was Mae Young. In the end, Mae Young slapped him on the butt. And then we had a stare down between The Rock and Stone Cold, which brought me back to when I was little, in the WWE Attitude Era, which was really awesome. Then we had Kane, Big Show, Kofi Kingston, and Santino Marella versus Core. Supposedly Kozlov was injured at a WWE Access event and couldn't wrestle this match, so they had Kofi replace him. So this was pretty much the worst match of the night. Lasted barely over a minute, like a minute 12 if I remember right. We had just basically, they all took out, all the good guys took out all Core, and that pretty much ended that worst match of the night. Then we had CM Punk versus Randy Orton. Should have been a longer match. I think we could have got a little bit more out of them than what we did. But it was one of the better matches of the night. In the end, Punk was going for a move, and Orton caught him out of that move and RKO'd him. So yeah, better match of the night, and I was kind of proud Orton won. Then we had Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler. Cole came out with this ridiculously looking orange suit on, and early in the show he was running his mouth bragging that he was going to beat Lawler and all this crap. And then we had Lawler come out and they started to fight, and Cole ran and jumped in his coal mine because he was a coward, and Lawler reached his hand in the coal mine and pushed Michael Cole out face first into it like quite a few times, and then Jack Swagger attacked Jerry from behind and put him in the ankle lock, and then he got out, and then they got back, him and Cole got back in the ring, and Cole put in the ankle lock, which was the gayest thing I've ever heard, but he put that in on Lawler. Then Lawler didn't tap out, he got to the rope, and ended up Cole went for a pinfall or something, and he counted 1-2, and Lawler kicked out, and Cole jumped up and started griping at Steve Austin. Well, then here comes Swagger in the ring grappling at Steve Austin. Well, Steve Austin ends up stunning Swagger and throwing him out of the ring, and then and they go back to action. Then Cole starts bitching again to Steve Austin, and Steve Austin's like, he starts mocking Steve Austin and being a smart aleck. Well, Austin ends up like pushing him. Then Lawler pushes back into Steve Austin. Then Steve Austin ends up stunning Michael Cole, and then Jerry Lawler goes to the top rope and does a move he used to do. Then he picks up the 1-2-3, and then they say he wins. Then supposedly Raw, anonymous general manager, told that that the decision had been reversed, that Michael Cole won the match, which was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Then we had probably the best match of the night, or in my top 2 at least, the Undertaker versus Triple H. Well, it ended up so much offense from both of them. Even Triple H used his own move against Taker. Taker ends up winning over the Hell's Gate Triangle Chokehold Submission Hold, which Triple H lasted in longer than anybody ever has. And in the end, Triple H ends up walking off, but Undertaker ends up selling the injuries like way bad, like he couldn't even walk. The EMTs had to help him onto a stretcher. So yeah, the streak was on 19-0, but I have a feeling we'll see a rematch at the next WrestleMania. So yeah. The next match we had Snooki, Trish, and Morrison versus Lawyler and Ziggler. Probably once again, another one of the forgettable matches of the night. And Snooki ends up pinning Miachel for the win. Which every time there's a celebrity, they nearly always win. And then we had John Cena versus Miz. We end up having a double count out at first, but then The Rock comes down and tells them to restart the match. Well, The Rock goes in there and rock bottoms Cena. The Miz pins him 1-2-3, and then The Miz starts celebrating. And then we have The Rock, he leaves the ring and he steps up there and stares at Miz for a few seconds. Then he jumps back in the ring, beats down Miz, and hits the people's elbow on Miz. So it ends up Miz still WWE champion. And so that's it, yeah. And then we was supposed to have Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus for the United States title, but WWE messed up and put it as a dark match, which ended up being a battle royal, and the Great Khali winning the battle royal. So yeah, that's it. Please subscribe, comment and tell me what you liked and what you didn't like, and if you think this was one of the better or the worst WrestleManias ever. Thanks.